Max, I feel like you're always fired up for fight week, but is a Carlos Condit fight week? Is that something different?
Oh man. Oh, buddy. Yeah. It's I mean, I'm always excited to be here, especially on these kind of cards, and then the Conor Poirier card is the biggest card of the year with the fans. Oh, yeah, I'm excited. Very excited.
That's awesome. And coming in with a win streak as well, right? I mean, you think of all the exciting fights you've had, but it's just been nothing but ups and downs, right? To finally string a few together, what does that do for you?
Man, it gives me that confidence. It gives me that confidence, and I really found my juice. I really found my recipe. About being authentic, having a good time, and it showed. Taking Ramiz's ear, the first time I had a good time, and then what I just did the song Keenan in March, even had a better time. So for me, it's like, hey, you need to have more good times, and I'm gonna have a blast, nothing but a blast in 3 days.
Nice. To this point, has it felt like a battle either to other people or maybe even to yourself to prove that, like, hey, I do belong here? Because you put on some amazing performances, but just haven't always gotten the results,
Yeah, I got nothing to prove anymore, but I feel like it's just going to happen. It's more like after I get this victory, the fans are going to demand a top 15 guy. They're going to demand it.
It's funny, we always hear, like, we got to say, when I get in the cage, all I hear is my coaches anyway. But, I mean, with crowds being gone as long as they have been, like, is there, like, an extra level of excitement of being back in there? Not just a crowd, but, a Conor McGregor crowd, right?
Yeah, my first fight was UFC 202 with McGregor Diaz Part 2. And it was bananas. So, to come back without Vegas being open for a year and a half, the first thing with fans, and Carlos being a fan favorite and walking legend, people are gonna be deaf in there.
Yeah. What is the mindset like at the start of the fight? Like, I think will this be similar to like the Thiago Alves fight, where like you get in there and you go like, oh shit, that's Carlos Condit over there.
No, I mean, I kind of had that mindset when I first got the fight. For a couple of days, oh my God, it's Carlos Condit, blah, blah. But my mental coach shut that down. He's like, hey, he's a body in front of you. You can't put that respect towards him. He's trying to take food off your table for your family. So I'm not a fan anymore, not right now. But after I beat him, I'll take a picture, get an autograph. But now my mind is set on destruction.
Nice. Last thing for me, what would be most rewarding? Would it be to go in there and have some kind of back and forth epic brawl with Carlos Condit? I know you're not looking at him as that Carlos Condit, but to have one of these epic clashes, or would it be to go in there and shut him down and dominate him, get a performance of the night, and be done with it?
The latter of that. There's no reason why I should have any fight of the nights anymore.
So, you had yet to make your UFC MMA debut, pro debut, and Carlos Condit was getting ready for his UFC debut after his run in the WEC. So looking at all the past opponents that he's fought, a lot of them probably future Hall of Famers if they're not in there, what do you have that they didn't bring to the table against Carlos Condit?
I'm me, man. I got power that no one's seen. I mean, no one has ever knocked the ear off someone's head, ever. With a strike, and then you've seen what happened to Son Keenan. He flew back. He looked like he got hit by a car. And Carlos had his time. Much respect to him. He had his time, though. It's my time. This is what I've always wanted. It's what I've dreamed of. And for it to materialize now, no one can stop me, and he's not either.
And then I know you're not looking at Carlos as you're a fan of his, but you've obviously watched a lot of his past fights. In the past, when like Israel Adesanya fought Anderson Silva, he said he watched so many of his fights that when they were fighting, he knew what was coming just from the amount of tape that he's watched, even when he was a fan. So, do you think you'll have any moments like that, like when you see Carlos gonna throw that double knee that he always throws? You're gonna be like, "Oh, I've seen this a million times."
Surprisingly, I haven't watched much tape at all of this fight. I knew how he fights. I know. I was a fan. He's one of my favorite fighters. I used to watch him. Always been a fan. But this camp, I've just focused on what I'm doing. I've looked at a couple things, but there's none of that kind of starstruck kind of vibe. You know, if anything, just gonna make it end faster.
Max over here on your left. I was wondering if you had thoughts or predictions on the main event Saturday.
I got Poirier, man. Conor, I really don't think that first fight 6 years ago really means anything. Especially with him trying to get in his head and Conor really, Poirier even mentioned that he did get into his head and kind of took him off base. But the way that Conor lost this last time, I mean, he had good moments in the beginning, but it was like a beatdown at the end of that fight. And then you see Conor now. I mean, I do like how he, went to LA and doing his stuff, but he's trying to get in Poirier's head and trying to get him out of his game a lot. I mean, all the stuff online is he's trying to, and usually when someone keeps trying to knock on that door, they're a little insecure about, what happened. And I've never been beat like that, like beat down like that. I'm sure if you get a rematch with a guy that just beats you down, I mean, that's got to mean for something that this guy could beat you down again. So I got Poirier.
And you mentioned that after this fight, you're going to be looking at the top 15. I'm just curious, of that top 15, is there anybody specifically that you'd be interested in?
No. I'm not saying any names. I had some names, but then they took them from me. They just got fights, so solely focus on Carlos, and then we'll go from there.
Thanks, Max.